That meant more eyes from all over were looking at the program. But Norm Stewart kept his sights local and his priorities simple.
He knew that the top-tier recruits in the country, that they really wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on them. He had to go settle on more second-tier kids. And if there was a kid from St. Louis and Kansas City, the one thing he wanted to make sure was that those kids did go to Missouri.
In 1979, Stewart signed 2 blue-chip players, one from each side of the state. Steve Stepanovich from the St. Louis area, and John Sunvold out of a Kansas City suburb.
Iowa State game, I'm going to shoot free throws, and it's just craziness. And Norm now starts just cussing. There was a guy that had come now out of the stands, and I don't know if he wants to fight, whatever he wants to do. And Norm is cussing him as I've never heard a guy cuss. But the first row behind the bench were my grandparents from South Dakota. Andy and Ruby Queen are sitting right behind the bench. They're probably 75 years old. After the game, Norm came to me and he said, "Hey, I got to get your grandparents' address. I'll write them a note." He goes, I probably shouldn't have done all that. Well, I was a kid going, they loved it.
In Lawrence, Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks deployed a hounding defense and a hot shooting offense to gun down 14th-ranked Missouri 69-66. The Tigers looked like they were going to run away with the game the opening minutes, building a lead of 16-9. It was a very physical game, so intense that referee Irv Brown called an official's timeout to allow both sides to cool off. But the Jayhawks started chipping away in the final 10 minutes of the first half. And after the Jayhawks stole a Missouri backdoor lob, Tony Guy sank a 10-footer to put Kansas ahead 37-35 at halftime. In the second half, defense was the key for Kansas as they deployed a full-court trap press that took its toll on the Tigers. The Jayhawks were led by sophomore Tony Guy with 17. Barry paced the Tigers with 20. This is Mark Matthew reporting from Allen Fieldhouse on the campus.
And good afternoon, everyone. From the Bob Devaney Sports Complex in Lincoln, Nebraska, we have our Big 8 game of the week with the Tigers out of the University of Missouri against Nebraska. We're only one game into the conference season, couple in some cases, but, well, we've already got a tight bunch in the standings.
Well, this conference race shapes up to be just what it has in the past couple. Right, that's Steve Stepanovich, number 40 from the University of Missouri, one of the most sought-after preps in the country last year. He's leading this Missouri Tigers.
Of course, Norm Stewart, the most successful coach in the University of Missouri's basketball history. There you see his career record.
Tigers of the University of Missouri. At a forward, a 6'8" junior from Charleston, Missouri, number 13, Curtis Berry. The other forward for the Tigers, a 6'5" sophomore out of Selma, Alabama, number 32, Ricky Frazier. At center for Missouri, 6'11", a freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, number 40, Steve Stepanovich. At guards for the Tigers, a 6'3" junior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 15, Steve Wallace. And a 6'2" senior from Kansas City, Kansas, number 22, Larry Drew. The Missouri Tigers, and now the starting lineup for the Cornhuskers. Along, we're set to go. Stepanovich in goal controls the tip for Missouri, but Nebraska picks up the basketball. So the Huskers go on. Shoot the lights out for you. Nebraska playing tough man-to-man, but they've got Barry open down inside, and it's 4-2 now. Nebraska up by 2.
Stepanovich,
job of it. Stepanovich trying to work inside, turnaround jump shot on the back of the rim and goes down as Stepanovich has his first 2 points, and we've got a tie game at 4 with 17. We don't have to tell you what they're going to do, but here's Larry Drew coming up with it now. And Drew takes the shot out of the circle, gets it down. They gave him a little too much room, Gary, and Missouri goes up 6-4.
well, as you mentioned, they're all good shooters. He was hollering at me like he was a while ago. I'd do what he was telling me.
Missouri basketball up by 2 as Larry Drew lets it go from 20 and knocks it down, and Larry Drew has 4 points. Missouri goes in front 8-4. Nebraska got the... Now, Frazier over the top to Stepanovich. Nothing you can do about that. He's going to get 2 points from there, Gary.
No turnaround is fair play right there. Missouri brought their weak side forward.
10. Right back, Mark Dressler from Missouri. Boy, the Tigers broke it up court fast. Dressler has 2.
Missouri, along with their new players, has some experience. That kid right there, Dressler, was in.
Looks in again, can't get him. Takes it in the circle himself. Got in trouble with it, but clears to Wallace, whose jumper is good. And Steve Wallace has 2 points. He was 8 for 9 against KU from the floor last Wednesday. Doesn't get it. Rebound. That's Ricky Frazier. Goes in and gets it. And Ricky Frazier picks up his first 2 points of the afternoon, the 6'5 sophomore.
You see Wallace right here, number 15, going up for the jumper. He doesn't go out and check Frazier off right there. Frazier with leaping ability goes right up over the top of him. Quick move to the basket, back for 2.
Here's Tom Dorr, 7'2 senior, checking into the Missouri lineup now. Steve Stepanovic. Curtis Berry. Turnaround jumper. That's Ricky Frazier, excuse me, as Frazier gets it down for his 4th point.
Frazier averaging 12.7.
Sunvold off the left side of the circle, picks up the dribble. He's got Ricky Frazier inside. The turnaround jumper good, and all of a sudden it's Ricky Frazier taking control offensively for Missouri, and the Tigers have opened up a 6-point lead with 9:04. This is Ricky Frazier.
And most of Missouri is coming down inside.
Hey, look at Tom Dorr, the 7'2 center. Takes the turnaround from the circle and gets it. He has 2 points. 22 down by 5, operating with the basketball. And they're inside, getting hammered that time is Ray Collins.
Goes to the hoop right here, and the back goes up. Watch Ricky Frazier come away. Definitely gets the ball clean. Good team defense, whole lot.
Here comes Sunvold, stops in the lane, puts it up, good. John Sunvold picks up his first 2 points of the game. 8. Mark Dressler works against Collins, the jumper, good.
Dressler did not get the shot
near. And they are down by 7. Laid past Dressler for the easy 2.
Boy, credit Dressler for getting down the floor. That's a couple of bunnies.
And Missouri has now opened up a 9-point lead, the biggest of the game. The score.
Stepanovic showed me some stuff right there. A smart play for a freshman. He went up. He did not hammer Andre Smith. He kept his hands out of there and kept away from a foul.
Who has been out the last 3 games with a flu check in for Nebraska. Larry Drew on the line. Drew, the 6'2 senior out of Wyandotte High School in Kansas City, Kansas, as fine a guard as there is in this conference. Drew now has a half dozen. And now Ricky Frazier against Ray Collins. Takes a low block by Smith, and Stepanovic gets the easy 2 as he picks up the deflection. As Stepanovic now has 6 points. Missouri Wallace. Back to Stepanovic. He's going to work, take the turnaround jumper, and he got it. Steve Stepanovic now has 8 points.
He's got good actions in there for a freshman player.
Ray Collins back to Eric Williams. Now to Shoecraft, the top of the circle. The jumper no good. 1 second left and a half as the long shot misses. And we have come to the end of the first half here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And Missouri has established control of Nebraska here at the bean. And there you see our halftime score. We're at the midway point here in Lincoln. Our score, Missouri 36, Nebraska 20.
The ball game, and the jump is alternated from then on until you go into an overtime session, and then at which time you jump the ball again.
This is the ball game. The Missouri leads by 14, make it 15 as Berry knocks down 2 free throws. And the Tigers open up the... Great feed down low to Curtis Berry. Shot misses. Stepanovic gets it back, and he has 10 to lead all scores this afternoon. Missouri's up by 7, and the Huskers still shooting in tough luck. Wallace to Drew. Goes baseline. Reverse layup is good. Tremendous move down low. Drew has 8.
Well, here was this play a little while ago. Drew comes down, whips it down inside. He misses the layup, but watch Stepanovic come in there, reaches over at 6'11", got the rebound, stuck it back in.
Time out on the court here in Lincoln with a score. But midway through the first half, Missouri took control, and there's Berry inside with a great feed from Larry Drew. Curtis, and along with everything else that's hurting Nebraska, they're down by 19 points, and there's Berry. Tremendous shot inside by Curtis Berry.
Good pass, but great body control there by Berry. He was taken. They pick him. He gets screened off with his defensive man over the top, and notice Berry falling away, puts it up off the glass soft for a couple.
With 16:35 left. Look at Wallace from long range. Boy, Missouri doing everything right at the moment.
They come around the same type of play that they use for Berry. Up over the top. Ricky Frazier coming off defensive help again. Pins it up on the glass, no doubt about it.
Drew takes him baseline, gets him inside. The shot doesn't go. Stepanovic tips twice and knocked it back down. Stepanovic now with a dozen points.
Stepanovich's man leaves him to help, and he comes right in there with the left hand once. The ability to go right back up for a big guy with a left hand and gets it down.
Moiba on the left, Joe Cipriano on the right. On the Nebraska bench, Stepanovic having a...
As you look at Berry, 6'8", Stepanovic in here 6'11", and Frazier 6'5", who plays like he's 6'7". One end to the other. Well, and a good jumper. He's a bull-like rebounder. I know that.
Berry's free throw down again. He has 8 points in the second half, 10 in the ball. They've really taken the Nebraska crowd clear out of this one, Gary. That's Curtis Berry, and he hit it. And Curtis Berry starting to take control now. 10 points in the second half.
Putting the ball game, complete ball game together. Today they may get that.
Ricky Frazier hits inside, and Ricky Frazier now has 8 points, and it's now 56-33. Good one. Missouri's Tigers putting on a...
And of course, Drew will naturally set that record and add to it considerably.
Today, in addition to his 100th start, was his 88th consecutive. Dorr gets that free throw down. The crowd quiets for a moment. Dorr has three, man-to-man. Sunvold loose in the circle. The jump shot good, and John Sunvold gets his 6th point of the afternoon.
Nader gambled on defense, went by.
Frazier with 8 points, as you see on the afternoon, now makes it 9. The 6'5 sophomore out of Selma. Let's make that out of... He was the Metro Conference Freshman of the Year, as Gary told you earlier. 5 left in the game. Mark Dressler, Tom Dorr, sweeping hook shot is good by the 7'2 center, Tom Dorr, and he now has 5 points. Sunfold. Ricky Frazier in the circle, knocks it down, and Ricky Frazier now has a dozen points. Good scoring balance here for the Tigers as they get the basketball back.
Williams doing everything real well on time except executing the ball in the basket.
There's a shot down and a foul called at the other end of the floor as Larry Drew, or was it Frazier? Let's check. Larry Drew, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, completes the 3-point play. 11 points for Drew.
Here's the action. Minute you see the pass come into Drew, he goes up right there, down underneath, picks it up, and right, no doubt about it, right on the wrist the foul occurred.
Points for Nebraska. Right back in a hurry, Missouri to Stepanovich. The shot misses, and we're going to have a goaltending call and give Steve Stepanovich his 14th point of the afternoon.
Later to go underneath for a tough shot, and he blew it.
Stepanovich with a twisting move doesn't get it, but Mark Dressler gets the rebound down for his 6th point.
With 8 minutes to go in the ball game.
There's Norm Stewart talking to John Sunvold, his freshman out of Blue Springs, Missouri. Colorado playing this afternoon. Free throw good by Larry Drew of Missouri.
He's had a fine career at Missouri, and I know Coach Norm Stewart says he's the...
with the basketball. 74-50, they're in front. Stepanovich, good feed to the baseline to Mark Dressler. And it's now 8 points for Mark Dressler.
Here's the last play involved. Dressler goes in high. Stepanovich drops it off to him as Downing turned his head, goes in, up with the right hand for 2 points. Good little give and go.
After winning on the road at Iowa State Wednesday, will have lost at home. Stepanovich wheels it inside, and he now has 16 points.
Good job there, Ricky Ross, a blue chipper that Kansas got out of Wichita last season.
There's Stepanovich again, and he now has 18 points in the ball game. Stepanovich takes it from long range and hits that one. Yeah, he's knocking everything down. Stepanovich now has 20 points.
Type of freshman, he's reacted to the pressure here this afternoon.
Well, Amos inside for Missouri gets 2 down. Incidentally, that last bucket for Nebraska was by Chuck Anderson. You know, Stepanovich is never... Mark Dressler. Now Sunvold. 6 seconds left. Missouri holding the basketball. Dressler dribbles top of the circle. And there's the gun, and there's the end of the ball game here at the Bob Devaney Sports Center in Lincoln, Nebraska. Missouri has squared their Big 8 record at 1-1 with a big road win over Nebraska. They grabbed control of the ball game midway through the first half. As you see, Norm Stewart now shaking Joe Cipriano's hand, and they walk along court side, these 2 old friends and 2 old rivals in Big 8 Conference basketball, and today's battle has gone to Norm Stewart. That's the final score. It's Missouri 84, Nebraska 63. Stay tuned for our post-game show after these messages.
The Missouri Tigers, they even their conference record at 1-1. And Norm, this is one you had to have after losing on the road to Kansas.
Well, Gary, we're really pleased. I'm really happy for our guys because we've been struggling all year long with our offense and really getting it together on a sound basis. And I thought in the first half we did an acceptable job. In the second half, we were really a lot, we're really pleased with it. I'm really happy for our guys because they work at it. They want to play, and they want to play as well as they can.
This is maybe then what you're telling me.
In the conference, we have the old guard with you and the new guard here, Steve Stepanovich, the outstanding freshman. Steve, a 20-point afternoon and only your second conference game this year. You look like you were getting relaxed and kind of in the flow out there.
Well, I thought I was pretty too, especially in the second half. But as a team was on the whole, we really played well this game as far as turning on offense. Because in the past, we really haven't turned our offense the way Coach Stewart would like us to. But in today's game, I think we did that pretty well.
And since we're talking about Steve, what has Steve meant to this ball club? Has it taken pressure off you as an outside guard who's carried a lot of the offense in the past couple of years?
It really has. Having a big man with Steve's size, and he's very mobile to be 6'11". And it makes it kind of fun on a break when you got a 6'11" on the wing. You know, he's going down there full steam, and you know it's a pleasure getting the ball to him.
You've lost 2 ball games. This is your 12th win now. The losses were to Kansas in the first conference game and to DePaul. DePaul will probably move up to number 1. Are they the toughest team you faced?
DePaul is definitely the toughest team we faced. They have a fine nucleus. They're strong inside. They got good shooters outside. And I think right now they deserve to be number 1.
Now you had a
Fred Weiss saying thanks for watching from Lincoln, Nebraska. Again, next Saturday afternoon, join us for Big 8 basketball in Ames, Iowa, the Oklahoma Sooners and the Iowa State Cyclones. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon from Lincoln.
The Sunvolt lays it off to McCrary. Back to Dressler for 2.
My freshman year, we were in the NCAA tournament. In the second round, we played Notre Dame. Notre Dame was maybe picked to be a Final Four team or to win it all.
The Tigers were underdogs to a stacked Irish team. But little-known sophomore Mark Dressler played the game of his life, scoring 32. Orlando Woolridge tied the game to send it into overtime. And with under 30 seconds left, Notre Dame's Bill Hanslick missed a jump shot. Dressler grabbed the rebound and was fouled. He converted both free throws to secure the win.
That moment put us on the map.